Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and today we are going to do an update how to max out a character guide. So I've already done one of these on my channel, and that video has done really well. I think people have found it very useful. Things have changed slightly since that last video. We now have C90 and Force weapons. Actually, C90 was out for that video, but Force weapons are a new thing, and there's a little bit, some changes to like how it all starts out. So this is going to be an updated summer 2022 how to max out a character guide. And what I'm going to do in this video is not only explain how to max out a character, I'm actually going to take a fresh, brand new character and max them out on camera for you so you can see it being done from start to finish. There's one piece that like takes a little bit of time, so I'm not going to do the whole thing on camera, but I will do a demo of part of it and then explain like, all right, now you just repeat this and then you're done. So the first thing we're going to look at here, so Braska is going to be our demo character, and this is literally a freshly pulled brand new character. I have not touched him. So when you get a brand new character now, this is what they're going to start out as. So they're going to start at level 70 and crystal level 70. This is a new update that happened with Force Time. The other thing that happened is we now have this little enhance button. So I'm on the character page. I can press this enhance button. It's right on the left, just to the left of his body there. And this essentially shows you everything you need to max out. So to summarize, at the very top, we have to do crystal level up to 90. We have to do the actual level up to 90. Right now it's showing max 70 out of 70, but when we increase the crystal levels, it's going to allow that level cap to go up to 90. So we need crystals and level at 90. Next we have training boards. So this is summon boards. So we will talk about, it's actually summon boards and character boards. So we'll talk about those, but those are things that you need to max out. And the summon boards is the part that takes a while. Force enhancements. We've got weapon passives, so you have to have all the weapons for the character maxed out. So we'll demo that. We'll max out all of his weapons in this video. Armor passives, so we need all of his armors maxed out. We need his blooms maxed out, which affects his AA, which is his active ability. We need artifact passives, which I'm not going to like sit and like farm all of his artifacts. I'll just kind of explain it and how to get it. And then he would want to have spheres equipped. Now, if you're doing this on your own, there is a drop down on all of these windows, and it will actually take you to like where you could go to upgrade those. So it'll actually give you little links, and there's different ways that you can kind of upgrade characters. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to demo it outside of the menu, but just know that within this menu, there are guides that will take you to each of the parts. So if you're, you watch my video, but you don't remember exactly where to go, just jump into this guide here. It's a very useful tool that was recently added into the game. So the first thing that I would like to do is I would like to start off by getting the crystal passive up. I usually start with that first. So to get the crystal passive up, there's a couple of places you're going to need to go. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to go into events. And then when you go to the events tab, you're going to see these crystal quests. Now, Braska is a white crystal character, so you'd want to go into this white quest. Now, basically in here, you're going to get all the crystals you need to get him up to 80. So he's going to start at 70. So you only need to bring him from 70 to 80 with this quest. But you're going to need these crystals for part of his 90 passive as well. So let's just do a quick run of this. This is a very quick quest. If you have characters with very fast AoE attacks, typically you can just bring a single like really fast AoE character, like I've got Snow here. So we'll just do a quick run here just so you guys can see it. The other thing I recommend is as you're running these stages, if you have books, the game is going to give you experience books, gold books, and item up books, and then they'll have all books that do all of those. I recommend you do that if you're going to be farming for a while. The other thing is this crystal stage I'm in right now, any of the colors you want to, or otherwise there's the golden cactuar stage. Any of those are really good places to raise experience. My Braska is max level right now, but once I raise his cap to 90, he's going to be able to level up. So this is the same place you'd go to level up Braska or whatever your new character is, but you can see I got a bunch of white crystals there, right? So then what I'm going to do is, let's say you farm, you get enough crystals that you need. What you're going to do is you're going to go to the enhancement tab. And honestly, so I've been playing the game since day one. So it's a very different, I know the new player experience is very different from when I joined, but from what I'm hearing, they just throw a bunch of materials at you right away. So if you just started playing the game and you want to know how to max a character, you're probably going to have enough resources to do it once you pull all the weapons. So then from this page here, the enhancements page, you're going to go to crystal strength in the upper left. So when I go into there, I'm going to pick my character, which actually I want to change the sort setting here. All right, so we've got Braska right here. So right here, you can see I can upgrade the crystals. So basically, you want to go all the way to 90. Now, what's going to happen is there's the really fat crystal. If you look at the bottom of my screen where it says 275, Those are the C90 crystals. Those are not currently farmable. The way you get those is every time there's a new event, so like right now during Braska's event, there's like a co-op challenge. And so in the co-op quest, if you just grind that up, you get materials that you can go into a shop and buy things. These high crystals will be in that shop. So I'll show you that. But basically, every new character that comes out, they typically give you enough crystals to give them up to C90. You just have to grind the event a little bit. So let's go ahead and max them up to 90. Okay, and then let me show you where to get those high crystals. I want to make sure this is a full comprehensive video. I want to make sure you guys all know what you're doing here. So let's go back to the events tab. We'll just show you where to get those 90 crystals. So if we just go back to the quest page, and then if we just go to events here. So the current event is this belching purple token challenge. This is relative to Braska, but whatever character you're leveling up, if they are a current character, there should be some event. Then the bottom left here, you'll see there's a Moogle I can click on that takes me to a shop. So you can see there are the high crystals, and there's actually white and red crystals in here. Basically for the event, they're going to have crystal colors relative to the current characters. Now, if you're leveling up an older character that isn't currently on an event, it's just going to depend. You might have to wait a little bit for their crystal color to come around, but that's how you get those high crystals. All right. We've got crystal colors done. Now the next thing that we want to do is actually level up the character. So if I go to enhancements, because I rose Braska up to 90, now what we can do is we can go to, from the enhancements tab, there's a level up button. This is also at the top. But now if I click on Braska, you're going to see its max level is no longer red. It can actually go up to 90. These feathers you kind of collect from missions. You can actually get them in those crystal stages. So you could like press a button and get him maxed out that way. Now, I don't think I have enough. Yeah, I don't have nearly enough feathers to do it. So let's just take Braska into a quest. The way the game is right now, especially if you're running during an event, it typically only takes 1 or 2 runs. So watch how quick. We're going to just very quickly get Braska up to 90 here. So let's go to events. And we'll go back into the white crystal stage, that's fine. But I'm going to use a support item, and I'm going to use this relic of all knowledge. It's just going to give me double of everything. So double gold, double items, double experience. Now, if you're actually leveling a character, you need to make sure they're on your team. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Braska here on the team, and you can just bring another character to carry them if you need to. So let's go ahead and do that, and we'll begin. And then we don't need a friend unit right now. And then we'll just hop in. By the way, if you are grinding a stage multiple times like this, it is better not to bring a friend unit, because then when you restart the stage, you do not have to choose a friend unit, and it's very quick to hop in and keep restarting the stage. So we'll let Snow do his thing here very quickly. At the end of the stage, if you get a cactuar with a flower on its head, you get like mega bonus. So if we see that, okay, we didn't get it. If we had the flower cactuar here, we would have for sure went all the way up to level 90. This, though, because there's a triple experience boost right now on top of my book, we might get it anyways. So let's see. One fight with Braska. Does he max out? You see we get lots of crystals there. And then Braska, oh no, he only went to 76. Let me just do one more run. And then, so I'll just click the retry button. It goes really quick. But I won't do more than this. So if Braska doesn't go up to 90, that's fine. You're just going to imagine doing this till he gets to 90. Like I said, if we get that cactuar with the flower at the end, he's for sure going to shoot the 90. I think you literally get 10 times more if that flower cactuar shows up. So, like, your gil is insane, your items are insane. Yep, we got it. So watch this. He's going to shoot right up to 90 here. And you're going to notice the crystals are going to be, like, way high. The gold is going to be way high. Those cactuars, when they show up, it's just crazy. So watch my Braska here. So, yeah, you can see tons of crystals. Tons of gil, and then Braska, bam, 90, done. Okay, so we got level and we got crystal. So that's 2 of the big things done, right? All right, perfect. The next thing we're going to do, there's a lot of things here. Let's do maybe the armor next, just because the armor has less steps, I feel like. And then the weapons have a few more steps, just because there's more weapons. But something to understand with this gacha game, especially if you're new to it. A character will have their best weapon that you want equipped, but that isn't the only thing you want. You want to max out all of their other weapons, because all the other weapons carry important passives that the character can equip even if they don't have the weapon on. So you need the passives from every weapon, even their weak ones, okay? So what we're going to do, let's start with armor. So what I'm going to do is when I go to this side tab, there's an item exchange in the bottom left. It's that little Moogle symbol. We're going to go onto that. And then within here, there are a couple of armor shops. So what you're looking for is this blue guard token exchange here on the right. You need guard tokens, but the game gives them out pretty liberally. And once again, if you're a new player, they probably just threw a bunch of these at you. And these also come from those co-op shops. So the same place that we get the high crystals. So as a newer player, you're going to want to be picking up guard tokens so you can get these armors. So you can see Braska, since he's a new character, he's got 2 different armors in here. So we'll see we have Braska's bracelet and then Braska's headdress. You'll notice Braska's headdress has a red requirement button. So the way the game works is they force you to max out each armor before you can buy the next one. So what we're going to do is we are going to grab his first armor here. And you're just going to press auto. You need 4 copies of an armor to max it out. So we're going to say yes, and we're going to buy that. Now what we need to do is we need to go ahead and we need to max out that first armor. So let's go into the enhancements page. And we're going to go enhance realize. And we're going to go to the armor tab. And Braska's armor should be down here at the bottom. Yep, so it's those 4 yellow ones right there. So I'm going to click on one. I'm going to click confirm. It's going to limit break with the other 3. So you're going to highlight all 3 of those. Then you're going to click on the orb tab and throw some orbs in. So these guard orbs, by the way, these can also be gotten from co-op shops. And then also there is a stage in World of Illusions called Carbuncle's Treasure. It isn't always available, but when it is, it's the best place to farm guard orbs and power orbs. This is how you increase the level of your weapons and armor, okay? So I'm just going to press auto and put a bunch of guard orbs in. Okay. And then you'll see it turns blue. So this is what's called like the low armor. It's the 15 CP armor. It just turns blue and that armor is done. We don't do anything else to that armor. You basically are free to sell that armor or you can feed it into another armor to level up. So that armor's done. So now what we need to do is we need to go back and we need to go back into the item exchange. And now we need to buy that other armor in that same shop. So we're going to go into here. And then now you'll see that Braska's headdress, we're now available to exchange for that. So I'm going to go ahead and click exchange. We're going to auto. We're going to grab 4 of those. By the way, the first armor I bought was 5 tokens a piece, so it's only 20 for all 4. This armor costs 20 a piece, so you need 80 for all 4. Okay, so we're going to buy this. And then once again, we're going to go back to the enhance page. So we're going to go enhance realize, go to armor. We're going to go down, and we got a new set of yellow armor. So now we're going to max these out. Now this set of armor is going to have an extra step to it. So first we're going to click the 3 to limit break. We're going to click orbs, put some of these guard orbs in, click confirm, click yes, and click yes. Okay. Now what's going to happen is it's going to turn blue. But now when you look at the armor, it says realizable. So it actually has another step we have to take it. So this armor can go purple. So we have to click on the realizable armor and we have to put a blue book into it. Once again, the books, and then we're going to have ingots that we use as well. These basically will come through chocobo boards, they will come through events, they'll come as login rewards. There's all different ways, but just know that they are not farmable. So, when you see missions that have books and ingots, you typically want to try and get those, okay? So we're going to go ahead and click on a book, and we're going to click max, and we're going to click confirm. So you just do one book to realize it. So you click confirm, and you click yes. It's going to realize it. Now, when I realize with a book, I will get an ingot of that color. Now this is going to be a common theme because this same process will happen for some of the weapons as well. So we'll see this again later, but they have different colored books and ingots. So now I got a blue ingot. You're going to need 3 ingots to raise it up. So now you'll see the armor is plussed, but it's level 1. So we need to re-level it up. So I'm going to click confirm, and we're going to go back to that armor. And what we have to do is we have to click orbs, or we have to click limit break, sorry. So we're going to go limit break on the armor, and you have to click this and click max. You want to put 3 ingots into it. Then with the 3 ingots in, you go to orbs, and then once again, we just put a bunch of orbs in. Okay? And then if you put the 3 ingots and all the orbs in, it's going to turn purple. Okay? So now, that armor is done. The other thing that I want you guys to note here is when you look at an armor, if the armor is done, notice in the bottom left it has a red check mark. The general rule with any armor or weapon, as long as it's not the main weapon the character has equipped, you are free to sell those. So just keep that in mind. And as long as you have the red check mark, it means you own the passive from that weapon or armor, and you just equip it to the character, even if they don't have that equipped. So this armor that I just leveled up here, that is actually going to be sellable, because now there is the last set of armor we need to buy, which is called the Lufenia armor. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the exchange shop again. Okay, and there's actually a different shop for the final armor. It's this purple token. It's called High Guard Token Exchange. So we're going to go into there. Braska's going to have one in here. Now, this armor you only have to buy 1 copy of. Where is Braska? He should be in here. Oh, they didn't put him at the top, did they? He's going to be Final Fantasy X, I believe. So let's scroll down. Oh, because I have it sorted by series, not newest. Hold on. Sort by latest. I bet Braska will be at the top if I sort by latest. Hold on. Yep, there he is at the top. Okay, so Braska's at the top. I'm going to click exchange. And this, you only need to exchange one. So it costs 20 Lufenia tokens. Basically, any Lufenia you beat, you'll get 20 tokens. So basically, you just get the armor for beating a Lufenia fight. Honestly, guys, if you're starting during Force Era, Lufenia fights are going to be very easy, even for new players. So don't worry about this. You'll get these. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I need to enhance. Now, this armor is actually what he's going to equip. So we're going to enhance, realize, go to armor one more time. And this is going to be a purple armor. I've got a ton of armors, guys, so just bear with me here. So Braska's armor, it's going to be above all of these. It's going to be at the end of the... There it is. It's this 210 one. So I usually get this. I like to lock it up right away because this is the one I'm going to keep. This one now we level up with orbs. It costs a lot of orbs. Okay, so you might have to grind a little bit to get that. Okay, now this armor is maxed. Now, at this point, unless this is a heavily invested character, you could probably stop right here. But this armor also has a book and ingot. For this demo, so there's a purple book, and then there's these purple armor ingots. I am not going to fully invest this character. But if you wanted to, basically you do the ingot book process again. It's just these ones are very rare. And if you do, the armor is going to turn blue. So let's say we finish Braska, his armor would look like this. And it would turn blue. So if it's a main character that you know you're using, I do recommend bluing them because it doesn't increase their abilities. But this part isn't as necessary as the other parts I'm showing you. So just keep in mind, you're okay to stop at that point if you want to. Okay? The next thing we'll do, I think I'm going to leave weapons for last because that's like the most steps. But basically, there's 3 armors total to summarize. You have your low armor that goes to blue, your second armor that goes to purple, your third armor that goes to blue. So that's basically the armors. That last armor is the only one that you need to equip. Okay, so next what I want to do is I want to go to blooms. Because actually my first guide, I forgot to talk about blooms. So I want to make sure I get that in. This is another item exchange. So there is a bloom shop in here. So in the bloom shop... let me find it here. It's the silver bloom token exchange. What this bloom is, it's basically just something you like max out and it makes their active ability better. The active ability is something the character just always has. This just makes it better. So what you do is it costs 1 bloom token. Bloom tokens will come from co-op shops, mission rewards, just various things like that. Chocobo panels, they give out bloom materials quite a bit. So you want to make sure you're doing those chocobo panels. So I'm going to grab 1 Braska bloom token. Okay, then what you need to do is you need to max out the bloom token. So I'm going to go out of here, and I'm going to go to Enhance Realize again, and we're going to go to Blooms. Now, basically, if the bloom is yellow, it is not maxed out, so I just have to find Braskas in here. We are sorted by series, so there it is. So I'm going to click on it, and you have to feed in these bloom fragments, I believe these are called, and you need 60 of them, I believe. Yeah, 60 bloom fragments. Once again, you get them the same way as the bloom tokens. They're just going to be buried in co-op shops. They're going to be in mission rewards, things like that, chocobo panels, all that. So you just max it out with those bloom fragments. And then this sucker is going to turn blue. All right, the bloom is done. Now these blooms, you don't, like they literally just sit in here. Like you don't, with the physical bloom, you actually aren't even able to sell these. They literally just sit in your box. So just leave the bloom in there. It doesn't eat up your inventory or anything. It's fine. All right, so we've got the blooms done. Now let's hop into the weapons. All right, let's hop in and do some weapons here. So the character's gonna have several weapons. So let me summarize it for you. So first we've got the 15 CP weapon. Then there's the 35 CP weapon. Then there's the EX weapon. Then there's the LD weapon. Then there's the Force weapon. If it's a Force character, that's 5. Now Braska's gonna be done at the Force weapon, but there are also BT characters, so that would be 6. They have a BT weapon. And then on top of that, you could get an Ultima weapon. Now, here's the thing. If you truly want the character fully maxed, they would have an Ultima weapon. I am not, in this video, I'm not going to have time to, like, explain Ultima to you guys. I have a full separate video on Ultima weapons. Ultima weapons aren't considered necessary for characters. Like, I consider my character maxed out without an Ultima weapon. But an Ultima weapon will just bring your character up even more. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But we're going to talk about just the base kit and without Ultima weapon. I have a separate video on Ultima weapon if you're interested in doing that part, okay? So right here at the bottom, the reason why we call it a 15 CP weapon, it's just that's the CP cost is 15. So I've got this weapon here. Now, before I jump in, here's how you get these weapons. All of these weapons come from banners. However, you mainly on a banner want a gun for like the EX, the LD, and the Force. You sometimes can actually get that without getting the 15 or 35. Let me show you one other place you can get weapons in case you have resources. So there is actually a weapon exchange in here, so you don't have to pull everything. But basically, to max out a weapon, it's like the armor where you would need 4 copies of the weapon, or you can use power stones to max out the weapon, which most cases that's what you do, is you get 1 copy of the weapon and then use power stones, okay? So there's this red power token exchange, and you can see for Braska, I could buy more 15 CPs, I could buy more 35 CPs, and that's all that's in here is 15 and 35. There's also an EX exchange, but the EX tokens are a lot more rare, so you're usually going to have to pull the EX. But if you get 10 EX tokens, you can exchange for that as well. But other than that, you're pretty much going to have to pull everything. There are LD token exchanges, but they're paid only, and it's very rare that they put those in the shop. So I wouldn't count on that. Pretty much the weapons you can buy outright are 15, 35, and EX. Those are the more accessible ones. Now, normally what I'd recommend you do, especially if you're a newer player, well, I guess it depends. Where you, like, I have a ton of power stones, but I also want more power stones to help with force weapons. So if you have like if you have an excess of these red tokens, and you're a veteran player, like, I would actually exchange and just buy the copies of the weapon. But most players early on, you're probably gonna want to use power stones because you're probably gonna need these tokens to buy weapons later on. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna buy out the rest of these weapons I need. So I'm gonna buy 2 more copies of the 15 CP. I'm gonna buy 1 more copy of the 35. Okay, and then that's it there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Enhanced Realize. So once again, you either pull the weapons or go there, but you don't have to pull 4. So what's going to happen is this. So if I go into Enhance this 15 CP, you can see I can limit break here with the weapons. But what I could do is I could click Limit Break and I could use Power Stones instead. So if you just use 12 Power Stones, you can max out the weapon without dupes. So the way you get Power Stones basically is they are periodically given out as rewards. You sometimes can buy them in shops. But you also get these back refunded to you when you sell off weapons. So this is why when you have weapons that aren't the main weapon that's equipped, it's usually good to sell off your extra weapons. So what I'm going to do, since I bought dupes, we'll just put the dupe weapons in, and then I go orbs, max out. Now these are power orbs instead of guard orbs, but you farm them in the same area as the guard orbs. You can farm them from co-op shops or from Carbuncle's treasures. So this first 15 CP weapon, it just goes to blue and it's done. So I'm going to unlock it because I'm going to sell that later. And once again, it has the red check mark, so you're good to go. 35 CP, same process. 1, 2, 3. Orbs. Yes and yes. Now the 15 CP also just goes to blue and it's done. So those first 2 are really easy. I'm just going to unlock that, and that one's good. Now we're going to go to the EX. So the EX goes purple, like the purple armor I showed you. So here's the EX. Now here's an example where I'm going to use power stones. So I have 1 dupe, so I can put that in. Then I can go to limit break and use power stones. I need to add on 8 power stones, and that's going to fill out the rest of the dupes for me. And then I'm going to use orbs here and do this. So one of the things very early on in DFFOO that I liked about the game was that you can sell weapons for power stones, because that means when you're pulling on a banner, when you pull like weapons you don't need, you still get use out of them because you just sell them in for power stones, and then it helps you raise your other weapons. So that's something I've always loved about the game, is you really don't have any dead draws because anything you pull is useful to you even if you've already maxed it. Now the EX weapon is realizable, so we have to make it purple. So I'm going to click confirm, and the red books are for EX weapons, so I'm going to put a red book in. Okay. And then that's now plussed, and then now that we have it plussed with the red book, now we're going to make it purple by just dumping orbs into it and limit breaking with ingots. So we have to limit break with these 3 red ingots. And we have to go to orbs here and max again. Okay, so we're going to go yes, yes, and yes. And then that EX is done. Okay. Now, in my last video, this would be the weapon that's equipped. But because we now have force weapons for a character like this, so Braska is an example of a non-BT character. This character would actually equip the force weapon. So I'm actually free to sell the EX. So I'm going to unlock it because I'm going to sell that later. Basically, the weapon hierarchy works like this. The Ultima weapon is the best. Then a maxed out BT, which is green, would be the next one. And then after that, it would be force weapon, and then a non-realized BT. And then after that would be the EX. But at this point now, you're pretty much like, if it's a newer character with a force weapon, the EXs are pretty much sellable at this point. And you're just going to be equipping force or higher. So it's going to be force or burst or ultima weapon. That's pretty much the 3 weapons you're equipped. You actually don't ever equip the LD. The EX is actually stronger than that. Okay, so that's the EX done. So then the next one we're going to have is the LD, which is going to be scooting down here. Wait, did I not pull Braska's LD? Hold on. I did my summon video and I forgot to pull Braska's LD. Okay, so what we would do is, this is an example of I can't believe I did that. I did a summon video and didn't pull Braska's LD. So the LD is just like this here. So this is Ignis's LD. So you would just max that out and it turns blue. And then you just don't have to do anything. So let's just pretend we have the blue LD there for Braska, okay? So let's say we blew that, and then we go and do the force weapon. Oh my gosh, you guys. I can't believe I forgot to pull the LD in my summon video. I could summon for it now, but I don't want to like mess up this video. So let me go ahead. And next we're going to get the force weapon. So here's the force weapon. So we're going to grab this. And here's the thing with the force weapon, okay? The force weapon, you need high power stones. So I'm going to need 12 high power stones. And you can see I only have 2 there. So your options are to either pull for dupes, or you can exchange for high power stones by using regular power stones. So let's exchange for that really quick. So we're going to go into the exchange. So we're going to go into the refine shop here. So that's right here on this page. The refine was on the right. And then here are the high power stones. So what I want to do is I want to exchange so I have 12 high power stones. So right now I already own 2, so I'm going to buy 10 more. So I've got 10. Okay. So I'm going to hit yes. And now I've got 10. So now I've got 12 high power stones. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to go back and enhance that FR weapon. Enhance, realize. Okay, and here's the FR weapon. And then we're going to limit break it with the high power stones. And we're going to put a bunch of orbs into it. Very expensive to level this sucker up. Okay. And then the force weapon is going to turn blue. So this is what Braska will actually equip. Now, if you're working on a BT character, there's one more step, okay? So what you would do is, if you have a BT character, so let's say we look at like one of these here. So let's say we go to this one here. Basically, you would level it out and max it out, and it looks like this, basically. And then it will become realizable like this one here, and you'd put a BT book on it. Now, I'm not going to like demo. I don't have a BT I actually want to max out. But basically, you put a book in it, and then the BT has its own ingots. And then when you max it out, it turns green like this. So this is what a max burst looks like. So if you have a burst character, you do those same steps, but you just do it for the burst weapon, okay? The burst materials and like the blue armor materials, those are the 2 rarest ones in the game. So don't expect to do that to every character. Be very choosy about the ones that you do, okay? So now what we're going to do is we've got pretty much everything there. Artifacts. So in order to get artifacts, there's 2 ways you can get artifacts. So one way is in the co-op shop. So if we go into item exchange and we just go into one of these co-op shops. So let's look at like this one right here. So this is what a co-op shop looks like. I showed you one earlier. So you can see there's high crystals. There's actually a bunch in the shop I still need to buy out. But then within here, there's bloom tokens and bloom fragments, which I talked about. There's some guard tokens. So a lot of things in here that you need, right? But also within here, you can buy artifacts. So that's what these yellow guys are, right? So what you do is, I'm just going to level up some random artifacts. I don't have any Braska ones. Actually, I can get some Braska ones, so I'll show you that. So that's one way to get artifacts. This is honestly the best way, is through co-op. Now, there is another way to get artifacts, which artifacts are in, if we go into World of Illusions, there is actually an artifact token stage down here. So basically, if you beat all the stages in here and you do this top stage, you'll get artifact tokens. And then when you get those tokens, you can go into the exchange shop here. And there's an artifact exchange, which is right here. Okay, and then within here, you could use the tokens to buy artifacts. Now, I'm actually out of them, but in here, you could pick literally every character in the game you can buy here. So in the co-op shop, the artifacts are only available for the current event characters. So if you have like an old character or a character that's not featured and you want their artifacts, you'll have to go in here and buy them. So otherwise, I recommend getting them out of the co-op shop. So to enhance an artifact, we're going to go to the enhancements page. And we're going to go enhance, realize. And we're going to go to artifacts. And basically, if you just have these yellow artifacts, so here we've got some for lease. I could just click on her and I could click auto, and it's going to auto upgrade 10 of them. Now, to upgrade artifacts, you basically do it with these artifact materials or with other artifacts. These artifact materials are easily farmable through co-op shops. You can just buy them out and get a ton of them. You'll also earn some naturally as you're playing. So we'll go ahead and enhance. And then what happens is you'll just get a bunch of passives, okay? Now, the character can only equip 3 passives, but they can hold on to like 7 or 8, something like that. So basically, you just want to try to figure out which passives are the best ones that you want. Now, all of my passives are orange because I have a Mog Pass. If you don't have a Mog Pass, you actually can get worse ones, and it's a lot harder to get good passives you want. But for example, on lease, this Attack 108 Crimson Boost is actually a really good one. So what I would do is I would say yes, and I could replace ones that I don't want. So let's say I want to keep that one. So let's say I want to keep this one. I would have to choose one that she's holding to give up. So I might give up like this one right here, and they'll swap out. And then when you go in and actually equip the character, you just choose 3 that you want. Now, I'm not going to go over like artifact recommendations. In all of my character guides, look up the character guide of the character you're interested in, and I will give suggestions in that video as to what artifacts to equip. So that's how you max out the artifacts. The next thing is spheres. Now, spheres aren't nearly as important, but some people do like to put really good spheres. I do talk about spheres in individual character guides as well, if you're interested. The way you get spheres is when you max out an EX weapon, you'll actually get a sphere for that character. So when we maxed out Braska's EX, it actually gave us a sphere. So let me look at Braska really quick. So let's go into Braska. So you can see he's got these sphere slots. He has an A, a C, and a D. So sphere slots have different categories that are sorted by letter. So each letter category will have different spheres you can use. So if I just click in here and I go to say C, you'll see there's a bunch of spheres in here I can equip. So the way you get them is you'll see there's like a full sphere. So like this one right here, you'll see how it's got that full like sphere on it. These ones have better effects. These are the ones you get from realizing an EX weapon. You can obtain more of the same sphere if you realize more of the same EX weapon if you would like to do that. I don't recommend that for new players. That's only for veterans with extra resources to do that. You'll also get these refined spheres. These refined spheres come from co-op quests. So in co-ops, there are actually separate materials you'll get for a refined shop where you can make these. So if we look at it here, if I go into, say I go into a co-op, so let's go into this hunting orders co-op. Not every co-op has it, but you can see in the bottom left, the top store there with the Moogle on it, that's the normal co-op shop. But then there's this one below it with like that white Moogle that says 380, if you see that in the bottom left there. That's where you actually get spheres. So in here, you can basically make what are called refined spheres. They're the exact same as the sphere you get from making an EX weapon. They just have slightly lesser effects. It's usually roughly about half. So like if a sphere normally gives you 10% attack, this one might only give you 6 or like 5%, something like that, right? So that's how you get spheres. Once again, I'm not going to go over sphere recommendations right now. You'll have to look at that on individual characters, but I do talk about that in my character guide. Okay, let's go back to Braska. Let's see where we're at here with Braska. We've talked about a lot, right? So now that I've put on all the weapons and armors, what I'm going to do is just on this character page, I think at this point I can just press the auto button. When you press auto, it's just going to auto put on the best stuff. So if you have all of his weapons maxed out, you can see it auto put the force weapon on, and it auto put on the Lufenia armor. So his equipments are now good. He's got a bunch of passives that's equipped, right? I could go in here and put a sphere on. Now, if you put a sphere on a character, keep in mind that you basically can't remove it. So if you put a sphere on and you want to change it, you basically replace it with a different one and lose that current sphere. The only way to get a sphere back, if you want to change it, is you have to buy a slot remover, and those are paid. So you'd have to actually pay money and buy a pack with a slot remover. So refined ones, you can be pretty liberal and just like slap them on. It's not a big deal because you can make those very easily. But with the full spheres, I would be very thoughtful about what you're putting on, because if you don't like it and want to change it later, it's going to cost you, because you're either going to lose the sphere or have to use a paid item to get it off of there. Okay, so that's how you equip the spheres. If we go into passives here, if we go down to the bottom, this is where his artifacts would be. So let me go into a different character where I can show you the artifacts. So let me just go, like here, the snow is built out, right? So if I go down into here, you can see I can choose. Remember, we had that list of artifacts that I could keep. I would go in here and pick the 3 he actually has equipped, and that'll actually affect his stats, okay? All right, let's go back to Braska here. Now, there's a really big thing we have to do. You'll notice in the upper left, we have those 2 zeros next to crystals. This is character boards, and this is summon boards. Let's do character boards first. So for character boards, you're going to need character board points. The way you get character board points is from this here. So do you see like on this quest right here in the middle, where it says 468 out of 30,000 points? Basically, every new quest, whether it's an event or a story quest, will have character board points locked into it. All you have to do is play stages in that event, and you earn character points. And for a free-to-play player, you can only earn 5,000 per event. If you are a cheap Mog Pass buyer, which I believe is the $5 one, that will allow you to earn 15,000. That's actually very good value. Otherwise, if you like the premium Mog Pass, you can earn 30,000 points. Character points, I'm going to tell you all this right now if you're a new player. This is one of the tightest resources early on. It's going to be one of your more needed resources. So if you're willing to spend money and you're a brand new character, like jumping in with the premium Mog Pass isn't bad. I do think they give you a month of premium for free when you start. You decide when to activate it. So once you understand the game a little bit and you know that like you're ready to dive in and start maxing characters, like definitely get that premium Mog Pass and get a bunch of character points, right? So that's how you get them. So to actually use them, we're going to go back to the enhancement tab. And we are going to go into training boards. So now in training boards, this was from the top here. We're going to click on Braska right here. Okay, so the top one, you'll see this big crystal with Braska's picture in it. You're actually going to click right on that crystal. And this is going to be the character board points. Now what happens is there's a separate board in here for each of his weapons. And what happens is when you max out the weapon, it unlocks. So I'm going to press auto in here. Now, what you're going to notice is mine's going to have a lane missing, like this one's still blacked out. It's because I was a dummy and forgot to pull the LD. So if I had his LD maxed, that bottom one would also be there, and you just click unlock, okay? So we're going to do that, and we're going to unlock all this stuff. These are very important, by the way, guys. There's a lot of new players that, like, they get all the weapons maxed, but they don't understand the character board points, and their characters feel really weak. It's because look at all these boards, like, there's a bunch of like just these are all buffs to like all of his skills, and they make him a lot better. The other thing is the summon boards, which I'm going to show you next. There's just a lot of pure stats in there. That's really important. Okay, so there's that. So right now it says master times 3. That should say master times 4. Once again, I was a dummy and forgot to get the LD. So just that LD I talked about when that was just that extra step. You don't need a book or an ingot. It's a very easy level up. And then that just adds that extra board there. Okay. I will pull his LD right after I'm done recording this and finish that up. So we've got that. So the next thing that we have is down here. These are summon board points. Okay. Now, the way you get these is you bring the character into the fight, and you actually have to earn the points, and you need 6,500 points to fully max out for each summon. So each summon, you need to get 6,500 points. This is a lot easier after the update. They increase the points. The points you get, though, is heavily influenced by your rank and if you have a Mog Pass. So in this video, I'm going to do one run, and you're going to see me get a lot of points. You probably wouldn't get that much if you're a newer player because your rank won't be quite there yet. So we'll hop in, and we'll just get one done for Ifrit. So to do the summon board for Ifrit, what you have to do is you have to go into World of Illusions. And this is something that was updated. There used to be a really low tier of World of Illusions, and you'd have to grind your summon up to level 20. Now, your summon is going to be at level 20 for you, which means it's going to open up World of Illusions Ultimate right away. So you have to go into World of Illusions Ultimate, and you have to basically grind these stages with the same character until they get 6,500 points on each stage. That's essentially what you do. The points also scale by experience. So if you use an experience book up, it'll give you more points. So let's just do a run on Ifrit. Okay, so basically there's going to be a bunch of stages you have to beat in here, and then you'll work your way up to this Ifrit on the podium. You do the stage with Ifrit right next to the podium here. And then what you're going to do is, I've got this party set up with a couple characters that need Ifrit points. Honestly, if your characters are like garbage level 1, you can just bring a good friend and you can just one-shot. It's very easy. So you want to use an EXP book when you go in here. So you want to go in and use a double or a triple EXP book. So I'm going to use this double EXP book here. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to begin the fight. You can bring a friend if you think you need a carry. So we'll just bring a friend in. and we'll begin. Okay, and this will be really quick. We'll just do a quick little one shot here, and this boss will be done. But it's very important that the character you're working on has to be in the party here. Okay, so let's go ahead and beat Ifrit quick. He's going to get a free shot at the beginning, do a little bit of HP damage. It'll be fine though. It'll just tickle us a little bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring in this Kane friend, and he's just going to one-shot with this 35 CP. It's very powerful. It's just dead. Okay, done. Ifrit is dead. These came out a long time ago, so like with power creep, you can pretty much just one-shot these bosses. It's very fast. Okay, so the stage is cleared. Now, for someone like me with really high rank and a book on, I usually have to run this like 1 or 2 times. So let me just go in here, and let's see how many points I get here for Braska. Yeah, so 5,000 points. So literally that one run is probably enough. I mean, you need 6,500, but at the bottom, you get something called wild points. So wild points, basically, you can put those on any character you want. So if the combination of your character's held points and wild points is 6,500, then you could just stop right then. Otherwise, you could bring Braska all the way to 6,500 and then just save the wild points for another character. What some players like to do is they like to save up and like naturally level up all the characters until their wild points are 6,500 on every summon. Then basically you could do a character for free with just wild points, and you just repeat that cycle. So now I'll show you how to put these points on. So we're going to go into Enhance. We're going to go into Training Boards. And we're going to go back to Braska. And then now I click on Ifrit. And then what you do is you're going to have this Ifrit board. Now you could scroll. You'll see all the boards for all the summons are in here. So you got to get these all maxed. It is really important you do that. So what you do is you just click on a node. And then in the top right, so you could click Auto. And it will just automatically put everything in. But if you don't have enough points, you can click this plus in the upper right. And click Auto. And that's going to put the wild points in and add them to your character. So I'm going to click Yes. So now he has 6,500 points. So now I'm going to click Auto again. It's going to max everything out. Okay. And then also when you do these boards, you also get free resources to summon and guard tokens. So this is definitely worth doing even for characters that you're not using. There's a ton of free resources in these boards. Okay. Now, after you do auto, we got all the stats, and then there's these 3 nodes we need to click. If you want to know exactly which nodes to pick for a character, I suggest looking at the infographic on Tonberry Troop. Or just asking people, like if you're in my Discord, you can just ask if you're not sure which passives to do. For example, Braska uses fire, so I do want to do this fire power up. Okay, and then let's do this other one here. And we'll just do, we'll do this one. These passives aren't as important, but there are some really big ones like Leviathan and Bahamut have a life up. You always should do that one because you want more health. And then typically, like, attack ones are pretty important. And if a character has an element in their kit, whatever summon has that element, you want to make sure you do the elemental attack up for that one. Those are some of the big ones. And then there's also dodge passives. Most characters, there's 2 summons that have dodges on them. You always want the dodge passives unless you're like a tank or a character that wants to get hit. Then you don't want the dodge passives. All right, so right now, I maxed out a Fritz board. So you'll see now that if we go back to Braska here, you'll see that those 2 crystals in the upper left, right, that blue one that says 3, that would say 4. That should say 4 if I had the LD done, which I forgot to pull once again. And then that orange crystal with the 1 next to it, that's saying that I have 1 crystal maxed out, which is Ifrit. You need all 10 maxed out, and then that part is done. Okay? So let's go back into the enhance. Let's make sure I got everything. Oh, we have to do force enhancement still. But otherwise, we've got everything else done. Okay? So the last one I'm going to show you is force enhancements. And then what I'll do is I'll just show you examples of characters that are maxed out so you can see what they look like. Because Braska isn't actually maxed out because, like I said, there's stuff that takes time that I don't want to put in the video. So let's do force enhancements. That's the last thing I haven't shown you. So basically in the enhancement tab, again, in the upper right, it says force enhance. And basically what it is on the left there, you'll see we have force crystals and force shards. Basically, to max out a character's force enhancements, you need to give them the level 30. And in order to do that, you're going to need a total of 3 stones. Or 20 fragments counts as a stone. So any combination of that to get you to 3. Now, if it's a character that you're going to be using and fully investing, I highly recommend you always go to 30. For a character that you're not sure about, you can always take them to 10. So let's go to Braska here. Braska, I'm not sure how much I want to invest yet. So I'm just going to take them to 10. So to go all the way up to 10, all you have to do is just character points. So that's all it is character points. And then for all the other levels, it's just character points, but then it's adding the force stones in with it. To understand the importance of the force enhancements in the force boards, I do have a guide on force weapons, so please check out that guide. So what I'll link at the end, I'm going to link my force guide video, and I'm going to link my Ultima weapon video, because those are the two things that technically can make a character better that I'm not going into depth on. But this is just the basic of like how to max a character. So basically, if you max a character, so that's basically it. I think at that, I know it was a lot, and I know this is a longer video, but it is a long process, which is why I want to make this video, because it can be overwhelming for a new player. Like, how do I max out a character, right? So I've kept it as concise as I can, I feel like. But let's look at a character that is actually maxed out. So Kryl is going to be a perfect example. So Kryl is a character that's the same as Braska. She doesn't have a BT, and she's an FR only character. So this is what she looks like if you want her absolutely maxed out. The blue weapon, the blue armor. You can see here if we go to the enhanced tab, everything here should be orange and maxed out. So her crystal level, so we can just go back to here. Her crystal level is 90. Main level is 90. It'll have a little orange M for the character boards and the summon boards if you have them maxed out. Force enhancements would be 30. Weapon passives are all equipped, so there's 5 weapons that you need to have equipped. The armors, all 3 armors have to be done. The bloom has to be done. The artifacts, if you want to have 3 artifacts equipped and then 3 spheres equipped. So guys, with that, that is how you max a character during the Force era. This is a summer 2022 guide. Thanks for watching. If you have additional questions, hit me up in the comments. Otherwise, I do have a Discord in the description. Feel free to join in there and ask me for help in there, or one of the other awesome players on my Discord will help you out. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch y'all on the next one.